Well, let me say that in truth and in fact, it's the committee that removed the CJ.
The 5-member committee?
Yes. What the president just did was to communicate that removal to the Chief Justice. But I'm hearing from the table here that we should have tampered Justice of Mercy because she had worked for 21 years. Who said that didn't happen? Who said? When it comes to the NDC legal team, I'm an integral part. My sources, incontrovertible sources, tell me that the CJ, former CJ, approached the president.
Really?
Through some two eminent Ghanaians in this country.
The Justice Torkono?
Yes.
Approached the president?
Yes. Two eminent Ghanaians in this country. I will not mention their names because I don't have the authority to mention their names.
Yes.
Now, I think maybe you also know.
Yeah.
Now, what was it about? To ask her to retire or resign peacefully and can take care all those things.
Entitlements.
When the presidency prepared all the necessary documents, that was when she went to court, at the Human Rights Court, and jettisoned everything.
So you're saying that based on the information
I am the founder of the NDC legal team. Don't you know that?
Yes.
I founded it because of my mistreatment by the Bar Association.
Yes.
I wanted it to rival the Bar Association.
So you're saying...
So I can confirm to you, whether it was legal or not. You are not talking about legality here. He's also talking about legality here. You said that could we have done something as if nothing was being massaged. Things were massaged. Things were massaged.
So you're saying that...
Give her the opportunity. She approached the president through these two eminent people, very high people.
That she should be giving
instead of her losing all this, can we do anything to help her to just go with her benefit? It's about benefits we are talking now, isn't it?
Yes.
Was anything done? I'm saying yes.
So is that to say that because she went
then went to court, you want to tie your people's hand?
Yes.
So let's make this very clear. The next thing I want to talk about is that once you are appointed an entity head, you are required to acquaint yourself with laws and regulations governing your office. You're supposed to do that. And I can tell you again, I got credible information. Georgina Wood, when she was first appointed as Chief Justice, she went to Gimpa.
I see.
And asked for a special training course. Just she alone, she didn't go to attend class like everybody.
Yes.
Because she said that all through her life, she's been a policewoman and a court judge. She doesn't know administration.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they designed a special course for her. And in this one, I can even mention the man's name. Professor Hoy was then at Gimpa. They did that for her.
I see.
That is preparing yourself to take over the office. So it is no excuse for you to say that, oh, it's the accountant who brought it. It's the what and what who brought it. It's no excuse. Or you don't know about it. It's no excuse. It is no excuse at all. I am of the view that because Article 17 talks about equality before the law, we shouldn't be making exception for some office holders. We shouldn't be making exceptions for people. Why is it that some people think that if a certain political persuasion applies Article 146, it's good? But if another political persuasion applies Article 146, it's not good. Where is that coming from? Where is that coming from? Charlotte Osel, Loretta Lamte suffered under this same Article 146. And indeed, as a judge, and Martin has said it, the bar is raised much higher than these other people we are talking about. Because this Chief Justice would have presided over some of these things in her line of duty as a judge. Some of these malfeasance. She would have presided over them.
True.
So if today she's been faced with that, look, there were other things like a committee she set up to deal with an ICT director. That committee recommended a reinstatement of the ICT director. She disregarded it. I think they were talking about dismissal of judicial staff. She disregarded it.
Send the ICT director, deputy to Tamale,
You know
to
that.
be in charge of bailiffs. Yes,
You know
in the
that.
report.
It's in the report.
To be in charge of bailiffs. So a man trained as this ICT specialist is the deputy director and transferred because she didn't like the results or the recommendation.
The recommendation of the committee. So you see, the sins of Torkono are so pronounced that what we should be doing as a nation is asking ourselves these questions. What lessons can we learn from her predicament? That is what I think we should be doing.
You say her sins are pronounced?
So pronounced. Look at the committee's work.
Well, but the likes of Kofi Bentel and the former CJ, Sophia Akufo say they are not grave. The gravamen of it is not that much to warrant the penal consequence of her removal.
Good. Let me ask rhetorical question. Paying per diem to your husband when she's not entitled, paying per diem to your daughter which is not entitled, is behavior we should promote.
So you should ask it to refund.
I'm saying that we should promote it. We should all be doing it. I'm also at DVLA, National Road Safety. Should I be paying money to my daughters and my wife? Is that what you are telling me?
Yes.
Nobody said that.
Yes.
And
No, I
so
don't think
Nobody said that.
that behavior is totally unacceptable. And in some countries, don't we see people going to jail because of some of these things? If you are presiding, you cannot vote. So after you preside, then you go and queue again and vote. All these Ghanaians spoke about. So that is where the comment emanated from. But was not about a chief justice. Was it the president who asked, what's the name of that woman? I'm told it's even an MPP man.
Oh, who?
The one who's this thing got the favor. The one who's petitioned, Daniel Ford. He's more lean to the MPP.
I don't
you don't know
that.
about that. You won't know because you're a journalist. So he's more lean.
I mean, no.
That's not your area. That's not your area. So I can forgive you. So he's more lean.
But you know because
I know, yes. So he's more leaning towards the MPP. Was it the president? And I'm told he's a well-to-do person, eh?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, such a person, how can the president, railroad him to leave his business enterprises, follow money, do business, and come and write petitions? If not that, it is something that bothers him. So, I am of the view that what is happening now is a clear case for future chief justices to begin. And this is not one of the things you say that it's an attack on the judiciary. No. This is not an attack on the judiciary. An attack on the judiciary is when, by this time, judges' houses would have been cordoned off. Then, when they are going into their court, soldiers are there with guns, showing that they shouldn't give certain rulings. That, for me, is an attack on the judiciary. But removing one person,
as the head of the judiciary.
what if he collapses and dies?
She didn't collapse.
Now, what if that happens?
No, she didn't collapse.
Will the judiciary continue?
It will, but...
So what is wrong with one person who has been found to have misappropriated funds in this way, asked to step aside? What is wrong?
She's been removed.
There's not
They have
step
to be removed.
aside.
They have to be removed.
Here's what in the mind of the former Chief Justice, who is actually a member of the Council of State, of your government.
Yes.
I mean, this
administration, yes.
Sophia Akufo says this decision weakens the judiciary. Let's take a look at this. This exclusive interview that my colleague Joseph Akable had with her earlier in the week. Take a look.
I'm very sad about it. It has really saddened me. And maybe in a way, I feel very distressed by it. Yes.
In terms of the conclusion that was reached, where the matter has journeyed from, is the sadness as a result of the conclusion, or you have questions about the procedure that took place before that?
The sadness is about the whole process. My sadness is because, as far as I'm concerned, it was a very unnecessary. We have been taken through a very unnecessary situation, and which, as far as I'm concerned, and that is my honest and candid view, this has so weakened the institution of the judiciary. It's not so much the individual who occupies their position. It is the institution. That is what I'm concerned about.
I mean, what informs the conclusion that it's an unnecessary process? I mean, we have heard even government spokesperson make the point that a petition was sent, a committee in line with the constitution was set up, they've looked into the matter and they've come to a conclusion. Which aspect of it, what specifically makes that necessary?
I think that, you see, there has always been something wrong with Article 146. And particularly with the procedure that it sets out, and especially as it regards the position of the Chief Justice. In the Ajay case, I took the opportunity to reflect on that weakness that I noticed. And are these, and these are not so to me, they lack the gravity. They lack the gravity that would lead to a grave outcome, such as the removal of the head. A warrant, a person holding a presidential warrant. That's what the position is. You become Chief Justice because you have received a presidential warrant. You can receive all kinds of letters that you are hereby appointed, but if you don't have that warrant, does that make you Chief Justice? Yeah. Okay. So
that's the former Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, a member of the Council of State of His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama, Sophia Akufo, in that exclusive interview with my colleague Joseph Akable earlier in the week. Amaliba says this has weakened the judiciary. It was an unnecessary process. In fact, this decision to remove her lacks the gravity, really, of an offense that should warrant such a penal consequence.
You know, the former Chief Justice was the one who presided over the prima facie determination of Charlotte Osei. You know that?
Yes.
So it was okay for Charlotte Osei to be removed on procurement breaches, which is not related to her work as an electoral commissioner. But today, she is saying that breaches such as this are not enough to remove the Chief Justice. And that's why I'm talking about the way and manner in which we try to elevate judges above all else. If it was good for Charlotte Osei, it should be good for Justice Torkono. In any case, for me, what will amount to an attack on the judiciary is when government passes laws that will reverse rulings of the court. That, for me, amounts to that. Or government decides to withdraw funding to the judiciary and crippling it financially. That, for me, is the attack. The framers of this constitution did not put Article 146 in the Constitution for aesthetic purposes or for decorative purposes. It intended that one day a judge would misbehave. And Ajay Chum has dealt with what amounts to stated misbehavior. I cannot see how we can allow a Chief Justice to continue to be in office whose penchant is to be giving contracts to his family members, give unauthorized per diem to his family members, and nobody sees anything wrong with this and says that we should allow it to continue. Would that be extended to me, Director General of National Road Safety, to pay my daughters, to give them per diem? Will that have been acceptable? If it's not acceptable, it is not acceptable for her. And I don't see how anybody can look at this and say it amounts to executive interference in the work of the judiciary. I cannot see that. Are we therefore saying that it is a clean check for Supreme Court judges or Chief Justices to do what they want, because when you touch them, you touch the anointed? Is that what we are saying? Why? There are other Supreme Court judges in the Supreme Court. Now that nothing has come about them, who has spoken about them? Who has deliberately gone into their work and want to victimize them? It's unfortunate that this has come upon herself. And all excuses that she's given are unfounded. To say that I am there, then they come and give me a check and I sign. It's not what an entity head should be doing. We should even be afraid that we have such a Supreme Court, Chief Justice in office.
How is that? I mean, why would you say that we should be afraid in this?
We are not saying that she's not competent. We are not saying that she doesn't know the law. What we are saying is that there are other responsibilities of hers that have not been, discharged by her to the glory of God. The Constitution stipulates that she has failed to live above the stated behavior principle. She has not been able to, as it were, conduct herself in the office so as not to be blamable. Should we leave such a person to be there because she's a good judge or because she's a woman? And I've asked the question, would anybody in this country say that what she did by giving monies to her husband and her daughter is good behavior, and that if you have your child in school today, you would say, look up to Torkono, and when you grow, you also give money to your husband and your children who are not entitled? Would you say somebody to emulate her work? Would you? So if you will not do that, and a committee has been put in place, and the committee's findings is that she should be removed, how can this metamorphose into an attack on the judiciary? That is what I cannot comprehend. How is that an attack on the judiciary?
So you said this doesn't weaken the judiciary in any way?
Has Bafubon, who is acting now, said that he can't give judgments? Has Bafubon, who is acting now, said that soldiers came to his house and I've asked him to give a particular ruling? How is that weakening the judiciary?
So you hear I'm going to come to you, but you hear the former Chief Justice, now member of Council of State, say she's been reflecting on this Frank Ejechum case, and even though she concurred in that particular ruling, she's been reflecting on the weaknesses in there. And you hear Nasasari also corroborate that in the sense that putting together the sins that could cost the job of a justice of the Superior Court being the same sins that could cause the job of a Chief Justice may be not a fair approach to applying penal consequences, that there should be some decoupling of the penal consequence that would lead to the removal of a judge or a justice of the Superior Court, and then a different set of penal consequences for the Chief Justice if he or she misconducts him or herself.
My senior here is talking about judicial reforms.
Mm-hmm.
That does not apply here now and now. Judicial reforms, we can talk about it another day. But now,
Say the law is the law.
there's this one. So, and as for the former Chief Justice, that is an afterthought. Judges will tell you, lawyers will tell you, it's an afterthought.
Okay.
I don't think that she wasn't reasoning when she took part in the Ajechum case. She was reasoning all right. These statements now are just, for me, solidarity for woman, a fellow woman, and those things. But I don't think that she actually believes in what she's saying.
Okay. Now, Watsapp Us, we're going to come to you on this. But before that,